Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Feeling Lighter podcast. I'm Coach Tyler here with Dr. Lisa.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about being nicer to yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know about you, but we were actually just sitting here prepping for this. And I was looking at my hair, and I was like, let me just push my hair back. And Dr. Lisa's over there. She's like, let me just even out my hair. And I paused for a second, and I said, Lisa, were you looking at my hair? And asking if my hair was out of place. And she said, no, I was looking at my hair and asking if my hair was out of place. I think that brings up something really important, is that so much of the suffering is self-created, right? So much of our suffering is self-created. It's that inner dialogue, the inner voice that criticizes us, that judges us, that is unkind to us, that unencourages us. I don't know if that's a word or not, but
discourages us.
Yeah, discourages, unencourages.
Same thing.
But in any case, I think it's really important that we start to pay attention to that voice, because ultimately one of the things we teach here at WeShape is the quality of your life comes down to the quality of your beliefs and your thoughts, right? It sounds crazy, but if we think happy thoughts about ourselves, it's easier to think happy thoughts about others, and it's easier to look at your life regardless of the circumstances that arise and still find gratitude and joy throughout that experience.
Sure.
So we're going to focus on 9 ways to talk nicer to yourself. 9 ways to talk nicer to yourself. So we did a little research, and we printed out 20 different ways of things that people say in their heads, and we went through and highlighted them. Mostly Lisa did, but we went through and highlighted some of the phrases that we really wanted to tackle. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to tackle these phrases, and my hope is that during this episode, you can listen to these phrases and go, "Oh, that's me," and then we're going to give you our own take on maybe how to flip that phrase around, maybe how to recognize how damaging that phrase could be, and really just hopefully end this episode feeling like you got some tools that you can use to flip those phrases around and start feeling good again.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that the reason we have to mention the icky or ugly phrases is because the first step is awareness, recognizing the things we're saying, the inner dialogue, that critic, so that we can grab it, give it some compassion, because we know those thoughts come from a sad place, right?
Yeah, sure.
A part of ourselves, and then give you something to combat all of that with. So
yeah. All right. Number 1. If I can't do it perfectly, I shouldn't even start. Ooh, man. I've had this one before many a times, right?
Sure. It's about perfectionism.
Yeah, perfectionism, and I think of black and white thinking with this a lot.
Binary thinking.
I remember back in my diet heydays of trying the next new diet. It's going to be the best thing in the world, right? I would always approach it like, I woke up and oops, today I kicked my heels up and I went and had a Starbucks, sugary drink. So I might as well just throw the towel in and just do nothing and start over tomorrow. And this mindset is it's really pervasive. And I think it really damages people, because it's just taking every day in this isolated fashion and saying, if I don't nail it perfectly today, I should just give up.
Right.
And then I'll start tomorrow. And then the next day, same thing happens over and over again. Maybe have one good day, and then it's enough of a dopamine hit to feel good to want to continue. One quote unquote good day. And I find myself approaching life so much more differently now, right? So from an actionable standpoint, I just try to listen to my body. Yeah. Right? Hey, do I want a cookie right now? All right. Oh, is that cookie am I going to stuff my emotions down with that cookie? Is it just going to kind of soothe me? Am I just looking for something sweet and enjoyable, right? Eat the cookie. Oh, did that digest? It's just listening to my body more and not putting so much pressure on myself to do everything perfectly. So if I were to rewrite this phrase in my mind, if I can't do it perfectly, I shouldn't even start. I'd probably say something like, so you notice that phrase, all right? So let's just go there first. You notice yourself saying that. If that's you, I can't do it perfectly, I shouldn't even start. Black and white thinking pops up. Say, I'm doing the best I can right now.
I love it.
Doing the best I can right now.
Love it.
That's it. Let it go. Let it go. I think a lot of times, too, we beat ourselves up when we don't do things perfectly.
We do.
And that pushes us down, makes us smaller.
I'm glad you said that. We beat ourselves up when we don't do things perfectly. My rewrite to this is about acknowledging the truth is perfect doesn't fucking exist.
Yeah. There's nothing is perfect.
So why even continue to pretend and proliferate that idea, that false idea? So if I were to rewrite this, I would say perfection does not exist, and I can start every single day anew if I choose to. So I never even have to.
How about every single minute?
Every single minute, every single second. I never even have to look at perfect as an option because it's absolutely impossible. So anytime I put
it's not even a viable option.
It's not a viable option.
Yeah.
So anytime I put perfection on the table,
yeah.
I know I'm not going to achieve it. So why set myself up for failure every single time?
I want to do my best and let go of the rest.
Yep.
Right?
I had actually maybe a different way to rewrite this. I made a sticker. I used to do this challenge called Let Yourself Go Challenge, and I would replace those negative thoughts. And the tagline I had for that was perfection is not real, but I am. And it's like, perfection is not a real thing, but I'm a real human.
Yeah.
And as a human, things come up, obstacles get in the way, life happens, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because there's no metric for me to be perfect at anything because it doesn't exist. So
I just want to mention one thing too. I could see some people going, I will never be perfect. I will never, I'm a failure, right? So try not to let that get to you. It's not about you. It's about the truth.
It's about the truth.
And the truth is nothing will ever be perfect, especially all the time. And let that go.
One.
Do your best. Let go of the rest. Have a great time.
And recognize that your best is different every single day.
Yeah, and every single minute and every single hour, right?
So,
I like that. So you guys, let go of the perfectionism. Let go of the black and white thinking. Do your best each moment. Some moments you won't feel like it's your best, but you know what the truth is? It is.
It is.
It is, right? We're all doing our best.
All doing
right?
our best. Absolutely.
Okay. Why don't you hit number 2 here?
Number 2, my body is embarrassing. I don't want anyone to see me struggling.
Oh.
That's almost 2 different thoughts, I'll say, but this one hits home.
This one makes my heart break.
Yeah, because I understand the thought process behind it. Sometimes, I understand it, but then also it's really ridiculous because if you've ever I've done this before going to the beach and just sit back and people watch. We don't pay attention to other people's bodies the way we pay attention to our own.
Yeah, just like the hair.
Just to your point.
Just like the hair, yeah.
I am not sitting here.
I think your hair looks great.
Thank you. I am not sitting here critiquing everyone's body that passes me. But we are so hard on ourselves that we create this narrative that there's something wrong with my body. It's so much worse than everyone else's. It's so much, uglier or unattractive, as compared to other people. And I don't want even anyone to see me struggling, either trying to do something physically or trying to accept and, live and deal with my body. But we don't ever stop and think nobody, sadly, thinks their body is amazing.
Yeah.
Everybody has some issue. Even the people who you would think might be your body goals, which is super unhealthy, by the way. But even the people you would put on a pedestal, I want her body, I want his body. They have insecurities about their bodies as well.
And I would wager to say they might have the most insecurities.
They have the most insecurities. You're right. Because sometimes getting close to the goal makes you even worse, as far as how you live and engage.
Every little thing you're going to nitpick, right?
So really this concept of being embarrassed, we don't actually have a reason to be embarrassed about our bodies because for the most part, no one is shaming us but ourselves. It's not even on anybody else. It's something that we are doing and something that we're creating a dialogue in our head that says something's wrong with the way that I look. People are going to shame me. People are going to tease me. People are going to look at me and feel away. And it's not even true. So for this one, this is one of those tough ones that's harder to rewrite because what I would really say is it's just a lie. Sometimes we have to confront the lies in our head and say that's not true. So if you have this thought, my body is embarrassing, I don't want anyone to see me struggling, what I would say is there's nothing wrong with my body.
Yeah.
And everyone is struggling.
Ooh, I
that's
love that.
just the reality.
I love that everyone is struggling.
Everyone is struggling. Let's struggle together and be kind to each other and be kind to ourselves.
I love that. When you read this one out loud, like I said, my heart just sunk. Yeah. Because I have worked with a lot of clients, and this one comes up for almost all of them. And like you said, it doesn't matter, age, body type, anything. Everybody's experiencing this. I walk past the mirror and experience this sometimes, and obviously, I get more repetitions of, wait a second. But it's just always there. And it's to me, it's about learning how to turn that volume knob down, not the expectation that it will go away permanently, right? But when I think about this phrase, my body is embarrassing, what I really hear there is I don't really like myself. I don't really like myself. myself. And I just want to remind everybody who's listening, you weren't born hating yourself.
You were not.
You look at a kid. Kids walk around, they got confidence, they're just out there. You know, one thing I joke with my daughter all the time is, and she laughs about it now, but she would come in and, Papa, I'm going to sing this song. And she would sing out of key and out of rhythm and everything like that. And I'd be like, you're working so hard at that. That's awesome. And then a couple years later, she goes, I was really bad at singing, wasn't I? And I was like, yeah, but all kids are. Yeah. And the worst thing you can do as a parent is tell them, hey, I don't like your voice, because that kind of thing will stick. Yeah, and the truth is, your embarrassment of your body is that same story. Yeah. I don't know how that story unfolded for you. Maybe it's a family member or a friend made a poke at you. Maybe it's social media or something like that made you feel bad. It's probably all those things combined, right? And ultimately what happened along your life is you learned that it's not okay to be in a different shaped body. Yeah. And so you feel that way. So you feel embarrassed, right? And I think that, again, I just want to call out the truth. You don't have to say my body is embarrassing. You say, this is my body right now. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to teach people, I don't want to tell people to go, I love my body right now, because that's really hard. It's not true for most people. Mm-hmm. But if you can accept yourself, that's the start of changing embarrassment into acceptance, which turns into self-worth and self-love eventually. So I think we need to look at acceptance right there. Like, here's where I'm at right now, and I'm okay with that, right? And I'm going to do something to take care of myself rather than something to change myself because I don't like myself. So, and then the struggle piece, like, I agree with you. I think everybody's struggling. So if I were to rewrite this phrase, I might say something like, this is where I'm at right now, and when I struggle, I grow. Right? And when I struggle, I grow. Yeah. People need to realize when you're getting, I don't want to say better, but when you're growing, when you're challenging yourself, there's hard parts to that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then there's beautiful rewards to that as well. I would so much rather struggle and grow than stay stagnant and stay the same. You know?
Absolutely. Love it.
All right. Next one. Exercise always hurts. So what's the point? I'll just make things worse. Ooh, this is a big one because, you know, we serve a lot of people in our community with aches, pains, and injuries. This one's near and dear to my heart. I've felt the discouragement of having really bad injuries. And I think one of the things that I remember in my own personal story is, you know, I've had 5 knee surgeries now. And one common theme amongst every surgeon that I've ever worked with is, yeah, we'll get you back up and running in 3 months, and then you'll be like fully capable by 6 months. And at first I believed them. And at 6 months, I'm like, I don't got range of motion back. I don't got strength back. I don't feel like myself. I can feel this joint. It's like way different than it was before. And then I started telling myself after the first 2 surgeries, give yourself a year, you know? And then a year would hit, still not there. And then after the last surgery, I was like, give yourself 2 years. And that was a really appropriate amount of time. Now, as luck would have it, I ended up tearing that ACL almost exactly 2 years later. So I was like on point. I was feeling good. And then boom, popped another one, right? So that was disappointing. But even that last injury, it still took almost 18 months before I'm like squatting again. I'm lunging again. I have it's like the joint has confidence again, you know? And so I want to start by telling everybody, like, give yourself a lot of grace. One of the things that you have to do when you have aches, pains, and injuries is take more steps backwards than you think you need to take, right? Like I always tell people when they have injuries, and they have that mindset, they want to jump back into it. I should be able to do this, all this stuff. It's like, let's take so many steps back that the routine that you're following feels kind of boring and easy.
Well, you build your confidence
you build your confidence, and you also build this this body awareness again. And I think, thank God that like movement is becoming a bigger part of like the conversation that's happening on social media, and more people are looking at like moving slow, being mindful with your movement, using things like isometrics to create safety in joints again. And even these conversations that we talk about, like talking to your body in positive and helpful ways. So, you know, for someone who says exercise always hurts, so what's the point? I'll just make things worse. I would tell myself, you're doing great. Be patient and take care of your body the same way you'd take care of someone else you love.
I love that. That's good. I think as a physical therapist, clearly,
so you see a lot of people who feel this way, right?
I see a lot of this, and I see a lot of, like you said, impatience, like wanting to get back to, wanting to do the things we used to do.
Yeah.
Yes, I should be able to by now. This is taking too long. So yeah, patience is huge. Recognizing that sometimes our abilities are permanently changed, and I know that people struggle to hear that, but that is the truth. Sometimes our abilities are permanently, or if not permanently, going to be changed for a significant period of time, especially as we age. And so there is a level of acceptance that we need to come to. In the same way we try to accept the way that our bodies look, we do need to come to acceptance around our body's capabilities.
Yeah.
And knowing that, yes, we can absolutely keep working toward a thing. There's nothing wrong with that. You never have to really give up. But understanding that just because you may not get back to what you were previously able to do does not somehow take away your value. We talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
Your value is inherent in your existence. So just being here, you're worthy, you're worth it, you're valuable.
Remember that.
And you should be here. But I also like to acknowledge the pain that people experience with certain movements. I think mainstream fitness culture will push you into this no pain, no gain. And sometimes we believe that it is a part of the process until we've gotten a little wisdom under our belts, right? And we realize, like, okay, the more I hurt myself, the worse I feel, the worse it gets. So I appreciate that this statement, even though it's negative, is rooted, I think, in some wisdom and understanding, like, every time I go to do this thing, it hurts.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's your experience.
That is your real experience, and you should own that. You should have that and understand, like, okay, so I've learned something about my body and where it is right now. But the negative side of it is, so what's the point? I just want to be clear. There's always a point to maximizing whatever movement you have.
Yeah.
There's always a point. That doesn't mean it has to be some hardcore schedule every single day, 30 minutes or an hour a day. Like, even if it's just a couple days a week, even if you're doing just short walks or, getting in and out of bed, sit to stands for 10, like whatever is going to challenge you without putting you in extreme pain is worth doing. It's always going to benefit you in the long run. So if I had to rewrite exercise always hurts, so what's the point? I'll just make things worse. I would say that my pain is communicating something to me, and I can modify my movements to make them more comfortable for my body.
Yeah, I love that. And just to put my exercise nerd hat on for a second, like, I want to encourage people, and this is a little bit of a shameless plug for WeShape, but I think that people need to have some sort of progression in place and regression, just like you're saying. So if you're doing an exercise class or you're doing a routine and it hurts, you're doing too much. And so you need to know how to take those movements and regress them, make them easier, make them less complicated, make them less risky.
Yeah.
And again, go back to a movement that feels like you can do it and you finished and you still got gas in the tank, everything feels good. Build that confidence, feel good. And that might seem, here's the hardest part, is getting out of your head of this is not enough.
Yeah.
This is not doing anything. I don't feel my heart rate up. I don't feel my sweat.
We feel bad about taking a step back.
But I'm like, dude.
But that's the safest and kindest thing you can do for your body.
Yeah, that and if you take 5 steps backwards sometimes, that gives you the capacity and the confidence to take 10 or 20 steps forward.
Absolutely.
Instead of sometimes it's 1 step backwards and then it's like 10 steps backwards and then it's 1 step forward and then 10 steps. We keep trying to jump back to this place that we think we should be.
Yeah.
And you got to be more patient with yourself for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, go ahead.
The next one, number 4. We're on number 4, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't deserve to take time for myself when everyone else needs me.
Ooh, man, this one's hard.
This is for us caregivers. Anybody who is caring for children, aging parents, someone in your community, pets, like whatever you have on your plate that you allow to take precedence over you.
Yeah.
And that can be a lot of, sometimes if you're honest, you look at your list, you might be the last person on it.
Yeah.
The last thing, like everything might come before you. And so this is a hard mentality to get out of. I think it's especially true for women, but really anyone who cares for other people and who kind of holds that title of selfless. I wrote a blog years ago that said why I never want my children to call me selfless. And it was really about like flipping this whole concept on its head about like being the long-suffering mother, wife, overwhelmed, underpaid, underfed, undervalued, and just giving. It's this martyr
But that's
syndrome.
What you're supposed to do, Dr. Lisa.
That's what you would think. That's what I thought for years. others.
That's what makes you a good person.
That's what makes you a good person, sacrificing your needs. But really, we talk about this a lot, all it does is make you sad, and it makes you resentful.
Holy shit, it makes you resentful.
And all of the priorities that you have placed in your life.
Yeah.
And even though it was conditioned, you were conditioned to believe that that's what you were supposed to do. It's an active choice. It was an active choice that I made in my life to put everyone before me.
Can I just say something real quick on that subject?
Yeah.
Like, having been the resented one, that's also not fair to the other people.
It is not fair to the other people.
If you pour from a full cup, service to others is the most beautiful thing you can do in your life. I firmly believe that.
Absolutely.
But if you're doing it from an empty cup, and you're building little resentments and you're building this frustration, all because really what's happening is I'm not taking care of me and I'm blaming you for it. That's not fair to the other people. You said yes to them and that was your choice. And dude, it's hard to swallow that pill sometimes.
No, it's very hard.
You know, sometimes we have to apologize to ourselves. Right?
Yeah.
And say,
because we put ourselves in these situations thinking this is what we're supposed to do, or think, and really not knowing what it's going to actually feel like until we do it. And it's like, like your breath is gone. It's the most unfulfilling life. And I did it as a wife and a mother. The most unfulfilling life to give and not get poured back into, because what you expect is that you're going to get equal parts poured back.
I'll get it back, right? Nope.
That's not how life works. Sadly, that is not how life works. Even in good relationships, sometimes it doesn't work at the capacity that you necessarily need.
Sure.
So, you know, I'm a firm believer, and I fill my cup. That's my job. I fill it everywhere I can get it filled, and then I give from that, you know. So this one...
That feels like the phrase right there. I fill my cup.
I fill my own cup. No, it is.
Yeah.
So, but I think to get past this negative thought, it's probably going to take some therapy. But to get past this negative thought, you have to understand the benefits of taking care of yourself first. You have to believe it innately to know that you're worth it. And so when you do that, what you can say is, instead of saying I don't deserve to take time for myself when everyone else needs me, you can say, I have to take care of myself first because people need me. Like literally, and that's not the only reason, but if you want to give to others, like you said, and you want it to be a beautiful thing that's not resentful, you have to give to yourself first. It's the whole oxygen mask on the airplane scenario. I don't have the capacity to care for you if I have not cared for myself. So that you can take that as a statement as well. But that's how that has to be rewritten, and you have to let go of that guilt around putting other people first, because you deserve it, especially if you want to continue to take care of these people.
Yeah. I want to just zoom back in on what I believe here is really important is, like, when we give from an open heart, a generous heart, and a full cup, like, that's what's going to make the world better, right? If there's anything that I want to do with WeShape, it's like try to teach that concept in different ways. What are the things that we can do in our lives that we can control to make the world a better place? And one of them is to give and be of service to others from a full place. Yeah. And this thought is about frustration and self-neglect from giving from an empty cup. Yeah. And you need to realize that even when we give to those other people and that resentment is tied to it, we're not making the world a better place. We're harming ourselves and we're blaming others, which creates harm and disconnect in that relationship. And so I just want people to realize from the get-go, when you self-sacrifice when you don't want to, that's not making anything better. No, it's actually not even serving the other people. Even if you think you are, even if you're doing the things that they ask you to do or you think they're serving you, it's not serving them because you're not doing it from this open-hearted, full cup, right? And so if I were to rewrite this phrase, I would say, I deserve to take time for myself so I can actually show up for others, like from that open-hearted place, you know?
That's a good one.
All right, if I slow the class down or need modifications, I'll look stupid. Ooh, people feel really dumb when they're starting their fitness routine. And you know one thing I want to say about this? Learning anything new is like really frustrating and you feel dumb because you don't know how to do it.
Yeah, you're a beginner.
Right? You're a beginner. Yeah. And I think that one of the things that I really want people to do is put on I always say to my kids, put on your white belt, right? Which is, you know, like a martial arts term, but like put on your beginner's hat, you know, go back to kindergarten and be curious and be like, oh, if I feel like I'm doing things perfectly, then I'm probably not being challenged. I need to like go and try things that are more challenging, right? So I almost like flip this on its head. Like if you feel like you need modifications or things are challenging or confusing or you feel like you look stupid because you're not coordinated, like that's how you want to feel. forever when you're practicing movement and you're learning how to do new things, right?
Absolutely.
The moment you don't feel like things are challenging or you're not coordinated or you feel stupid, right, is the moment you're probably not stretching yourself.
Yeah,
you're
not growing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so I feel like I might say I love looking stupid because that means I'm growing. That means I'm challenging myself.
I like that.
You know?
Okay, that's a good one. I like this because I'm the modification queen. I used to do a whole series on my social media where I would get like these super stupid hard fitness challenges, and I would perform them seated, like for if people couldn't stand. I would perform them like highly modified. You know, in different positions. Like if you can't get on the floor, do it this way. And I keep saying I'm going to go back to doing those more consistently, but I just think that we think that people are paying more attention to us than they are. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, everybody has at one point or another struggled with a movement, with a class, you know, with a new activity. And sometimes the activity isn't new. Sometimes it's just not something that we are necessarily great at, you know? And that's okay. Like we can't and shouldn't be great at everything. So it's okay to look like a beginner even when we're not. It's okay to be a beginner when we're trying something new. And it's okay to change or shift or modify or shift positions to do a movement and to feel good in it. So if I had to modify this statement, I would say, instead of saying if I slow the class down or need modifications, I'll look stupid. What I would say is modifications are the smartest and kindest thing that I can do for myself, and I absolutely deserve them.
I'm so happy you said that, because when you were talking, I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, if you believe that modifications are not a good thing, that's like a recipe for disaster.
It's a recipe for disaster.
You're not advocating for yourself. You're not being honest.
You're
not
believing
authentic.
I have to do it the way they do it.
Right.
Like,
which
how
is so
horrible is that?
opposite.
Like, we're all different. Like, we all have different capacities, and it's okay to do it differently. And I think it's important. This is sort of an aside, but when you're instructing classes, if you're a fitness instructor, I think it's important to show the modifications, to give some diversity and variety.
Yeah, for sure.
Because people need to know that other options exist.
Step it up, instructors.
Yeah,
that's
really important. You need to be able to, make your spaces more inclusive for all people at different fitness levels, because people want to participate, but they do. A lot of people feel this way, like I'll look stupid, or, people are going to not want to do it this way. It's like, no, we should be trying to give modifications all the time for people so that this is more accessible for everybody.
100%. I'm just getting fired up on this one too, because like I almost want to tell people, like, if you're working with a coach or a team or something like that, it's almost like the quantity of modifications that person can provide you is a highlight of their education and experience.
Absolutely.
Like I've been to way too many fitness classes where it's like, do push-ups. Oh, you can't do push-ups. Do kneeling push-ups. You can't do kneeling push-ups. Like, do some wall push-ups. That's a good strategy, kind of.
Right.
But there's more to that. There's more to that, right? Like, what if my wrists hurt? What if my shoulders hurt? What if my core doesn't have good stability, right? Mm-hmm. So I think the trainer being able to look at a movement pattern like a push-up and saying, okay, you can't do this because of your elbow, your shoulder, your posture, your core, your whatever. Let's make the modification that serves you to bring you back to being able to do something the right way.
1000%.
So I would say the more modifications your trainer is capable of giving you, probably the more sophisticated their level of education is.
Yep, and the more you should take advantage of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
For sure. All right, what do we got?
Sure. Let's see. The next one is, if I rest or modify, it means I'm weak.
Well, similar vein.
Similar vein to that. We know modifications are beautiful and smart and wise. Rest is necessary, y'all. Like, it is a requirement. It's not something that you earn after you've put in so many hours, so many days, so many years. Rest is a requirement. And when we're not resting, we're not healing. We're not resting. We're not like regenerating our cells so that we can do more, or not even do more, do the same, or show up at all. So rest has gotten a really bad reputation, and I don't know why, because it is such a requirement. So I won't even belabor this one that long. What I would just say, instead of saying if I rest or modify, it means I'm weak, I would say that rest is a requirement and I am strong. At the end of the day, I am strong because I know how to listen to my body and give it the rest that it needs and make the modifications necessary to keep me safe and healthy.
Yeah. This always brings up something that I keep trying to describe. So I'll try again in just my perspective, because I feel like when I talk to people about fitness, we're so indoctrinated in this entire experience being about energy output and intensity.
Yeah.
Right? It's like more is better. How much can you do? That's like if this isn't working, I should do more, right? It's just like dieting, the opposite, which is like I should do more dieting, which means like eating less, right?
Less, yeah.
And in both of those circumstances, I feel like it's just a recipe for disaster, right? And what I find really interesting is if you look at the most elite athletes, you look at people whose body and the function of their body is required for their job, and people pay millions and millions to keep teams around these people, they are not focused on maximum energy output. They're focused on minimum energy output for maximum gain, right? Yeah. What's the least I can do to get the most out of it so I can stay as fresh as possible so I can actually show up for the thing that I'm supposed to do with my body, right? So I think what's funny is like if you look at the strongest people in the world, they don't rest 30 seconds and hit volume like crazy until they sweat or burn. They rest 3 to 5 minutes between sets, and then they do 2 or 3 reps, and then they repeat that process for an hour or two, right? It's like really like it's a way more rest than it is actual output, right? And so I agree with you 100% on this. Like rest is required. Rest is essential. Most people who are hyper vigilant or perfectionists are doing too much, and you might be surprised that if you gave yourself a little bit more of a rest period, you gave yourself a little bit of recovery days in between, that you might actually get more from your training rather than less from your training, because you're going to be more rested, your body's going to be more recovered, right? If you think about it on like a chart, I think about it like this, right? You're in recovery, and that means you're above your baseline. You do a workout that drops you below your baseline, and then you start to recover again. And when that comes at the top, it's a little bit higher than the last peak. That's when you want to hit your training. For a lot of people, that's like 48 to 72 hours, depending on the intensity of the workout. It's not 24 hours. Doesn't mean I don't think you should move every day. Actually, moving every day is great, but the intensity shouldn't be there every day like that. All the time, exactly. You know? Totally so I don't know. I'm just getting nerdy here, but like, if I rest or we just said this, like modification is the smartest way to train, and I'm doing my best every day and taking care of my body, Awesome. All right. Nothing will work unless I push myself hard, and I can't do that anymore. Some of these make me feel really sad because I've heard them, right? I can't push myself, so nothing's going to work, right? Yeah. You have clients talk about this to you?
I do. And, this is a little nuanced, right? Because I think there's a lot of benefits to pushing yourself and trying new things. But I also think for a lot of people, the pushing ourselves is rooted in that very toxic fitness culture. No pain, no gain. Keep going. Doesn't matter if you hurt. So there's a way to mindfully challenge yourself. Do it from a very intuitive space, a very autonomous space, meaning I'm not letting other people's desires, wills, positions. I'm
connected to me.
I'm connected to me, and I want to try this thing and then the other side of it is having the contentment and the peace to be okay even if I don't meet the challenge. That is really, to me, that's the healthiest way to approach a challenge, and pushing yourself is to be embodied, to be listening to your own desires and your own wills that's coming from a healthy place, non-toxic place, and to be open and honest and committed to trying the thing and being okay with yourself even if you don't meet the challenge. So if you don't have all of those ingredients, then this concept of pushing yourself can be really bad and really toxic for you, because it won't be rooted in anything positive. So there will be no growth from it. It'll just be more self-deprecation, feeling bad about yourself and beating yourself up. So I think this one, again, takes a little bit of work to get to. But I will say this. I don't think that we have to push ourselves all the time in order for things to work, in order to get better or to maintain or to feel better.
You can say progress. It's
in
okay.
Our bodies. progress in certain areas for sure. Like sometimes it's really just about steady steady at it, like keep going, moving at your pace. Sometimes it's the tortoise, it's not the rabbit. You know what I mean? It's very much like I can keep doing the same things. I can add in different stuff here and there, like we've discussed, but I can just slowly walk this. I don't have to give myself a big push. But there's nothing wrong with giving yourself a big push, again, when it's rooted in positivity and it's from a healthy mindset. So if I had to rewrite this would be a tougher one. Nothing will work unless I push myself hard, and I can't do that anymore. What I will say is I'm doing just fine whether I'm challenging myself or not, but I can challenge myself in a healthy way and do even better. Yeah. Like those are my options. I can stay here. I love a plateau. I can live here. But I can also healthily challenge myself to do something new or difficult without it being something that I'm going to be depressed about later.
Yeah, it's so weird. I get like this logic brain that comes up when I hear this one, right? I know this feeling. Nothing will work unless I push myself hard, and I can't do that anymore. And I think we got to challenge the belief underneath this. I can't do that anymore means that when I push myself, it hurts, it doesn't feel good, etc. Yeah. And then when I say nothing works unless I push myself hard, that again goes back to unless I push my energy systems hard. Right? And I think people who want to have longevity in their movement and movement freedom for as long as possible, right? I think that there's a different way to think about pushing ourselves. Pushing ourselves in the traditional sense of fitness is like heart rate, calories, like pumping muscles, fatigue, intensity, right? Pushing yourself in more of a lens of movement capacity is challenging your coordination. So integrating your brain and the mindfulness of the movement and the complexity of the movement, which isn't necessarily intense, right? So if I were to teach somebody how to like stand on one leg or do like a drinking bird, like on a single leg, right? That's a really complex and challenging movement to do well, but you could do it without fatiguing yourself, right? You're not going to end up in this like, I burn myself out and I hurt myself because I went too hard, but you're challenging yourself in a different way. So why I'm saying this is because I feel like we need to flip the script. If you can't do it anymore, it's because you're focusing on the wrong thing that you're pushing yourself on.
Absolutely.
And what we got to do is let's challenge ourselves. Let's challenge our motor pattern efficiency. Let's challenge our ability to be coordinated. And that's a way we can push ourselves safely. Right? And then that will generate the progress that once we have our motor patterns in a good place, now we can up the intensity and we don't hurt ourselves. We can do that now. We can do that, right? So I just feel like we're taking the wrong step first, and that keeps us trapped in that one step forward, one step back.
I think what you're saying too is that there's far more than one way to challenge yourself.
Yeah, intensity is not the only way to challenge yourself.
We can challenge ourselves
complexity
very
is a huge
easily.
piece of it.
So absolutely, I like that.
Cool. All right.
Okay. What's next? I'm the type of person who quits. That's just who I am.
Oh, man. This one's hard for me because I think a lot of our suffering is self-imposed. A lot of our lack of being able to show up for ourselves is self-imposed. And I think a lot of that comes from us developing this identity of being a failure. But the reason why we develop this identity of being a failure is because we compare ourselves to the people that for some reason just have this like fire lit under them. And a lot of times I'm going to say that fire is insecurity in the first place. So it's not always coming from a good place. And it dies
down, trust me.
Yeah, it's not always coming from a good place. So I think that if you're feeling like you're the type of person that quits, that's just who you are. I think you've put a lot of expectations on yourself that you inherited from the fitness industry, from social media, et cetera. And the more times we tell ourselves we're going to do something, I'm going to join this challenge, I'm going to work out 5 days a week, blah, blah, we create this unrealistic expectation. And then what happens? We don't do it. We don't say, oh, I failed today. We say, I'm a failure. Yeah. And the more we believe that, I'm a failure, I'm a person who quits, the less likely we are to keep promises to ourselves in the future. And the best way, in my opinion, for people to start building self-confidence is to keep promises to yourself, right? Yeah. So if you say, I'm the person that quits, that's just who I am, it's not because of you being a quitter or you being a failure. Nobody's a quitter or a failure. You probably set the bar way too damn high. And you probably did that because of, like, again, some other influence outside of yourself, right?
Yeah.
So I tell people, like, let's set the bar so damn low, right, that we can achieve. And when we do that, we build confidence, and it feels good. When things feel good, we want to do it. Yeah. And a great example of this, I remember people used to show up to this group training program I had, and I had written this nutrition manual, right? I was like, here's the nutrition manual, here's your cookbook, here's your, like, here's, do everything. And nobody did anything, right? I shrunk it down. Okay, let's do it this way. Nobody did anything. Some people did a couple things. And finally I realized, wait a second, we need to build habits, right? And I took it all the way down to a series of cards that I would give people. And you know what the first card was? Wake up and drink a glass of water.
Yeah.
Right?
Real basic.
Wake up and drink a glass of water. If we can't do that, I've got no business telling you to eat more vegetables or eat more protein or whatever it may be, right? If you can't drink a glass of water, we haven't mastered the absolute basics of taking care of ourselves with nutrients, right? So
giving us some rigid program.
Yeah, make it so much easier so that you can start keeping those promises to yourself. So I would say I am not a failure. I have just overcommitted, and I'll take baby steps from here on out.
Oh, I love that. I like that one. Yep, I totally agree. I think that we adopt this identity because we are doing the most and doing too much and trying to do things that probably aren't even aligned with who we are or what we want for our future. And so sometimes it's about reverse engineering, like what we want our lives to look like, what our whys are behind the habits that we're trying to adopt or the routines we're trying to adopt. Like, what is the point? What are we getting at? What do you want ultimately? And when we define what that is, we can create routines that make sense for our lifestyles. Yeah. And, some of this stuff is great if you can work one-on-one with somebody, to be honest, because sometimes sorting through this on your own is really hard. And with the information and materials available to us with mainstream toxic diet and fitness culture,
it makes you feel like you got to do everything.
It just makes you feel like you have to do everything, and everything that you're already doing is wrong. That's really,
you're a failure already.
You're starting as a fail, you know? So I think it's important to reevaluate what is important to you as it relates to every part of your life, but specifically when we're talking about health, wellness, and fitness, and creating a lifestyle that makes sense for you. Not what your neighbor's doing, not what your dad is doing, not what your sister's doing, what you need to do that makes sense for you. So if I had to rewrite this, I'm the type of person who quits, that's just who I am. I would instead say I am capable and willing to try my best. Because that's really all we need to do. We don't, need to acknowledge this quitting, because you're right. It probably came from a place of setting the bar too damn high in the first place.
Yeah. All right, last one.
All
right. I'll start when things calm down. Right now just isn't a good time.
No, you won't.
No, I love this one because we all feel this way, right? Like, in fact, we're recording podcasts and stuff this week, and I'm not getting as much self-care as I like. So I understand the feeling of like, oh man, if I could, that kind of thing. But I think of a quote that I heard a while ago, and I think this was the Dalai Lama, and he said, normally I meditate for 2 hours a day. Today is an exceptionally stressful and challenging day, so I'll meditate for 3. And I just love the juxtaposition of that statement, because I think often we think that self-neglect and carving out time for all the other responsibilities or obligations that we've created for ourselves, that's what's most important, and then we'll eventually get to ourselves, right? But I don't know about you, but like if I do like a breathwork routine in the morning, even just something like simple, like 10 minutes, for example, I will be better off throughout the day. If I do my meditation, I will be more I will get more done faster throughout the day. If I do my workout, I will be less distracted, less anxious throughout the day. So I think that people are thinking they can just drive their car and never maintain it, and nothing bad will ever happen. But I'm telling you here, if your wheels are out of alignment, if things are starting to break in there and you ignore it, you're going to eventually have to stop and take care of yourself, no matter what will happen there. And again, I think that you could spend more time on self-care and get more done because you will have more clarity. You'll have a lot more clarity. So I'll start when things calm down. Right now isn't a good time. I'd say every little thing counts. I'm going to do something for myself right now. Yeah,
I like that.
And just one thing.
one thing.
Get that stretch.
Yeah.
Get one stretch.
I think it goes back to the last one, this being a person who quits. We overdo it. Yeah. We think that starting right now means we have to have all of our shit together, and it's got to be this very specific.
If it's not perfect.
If it's not perfect, I don't do it. That goes back to another one.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I have to have I have to go to the grocery store and get these special foods and
I don't got the right shoes
and shakes. I got to get the right shoes. I got to go join this gym so I can do this program. None of that shit matters, because if you sign up for too much in the beginning, it's going to be too much anyway. And you're going to quit. You're not going to want to do it. You're not going to enjoy it. So baby steps, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. They're frowned upon, but they are the best way to progress, to me, everything in life, but especially your health and fitness routine. Because anytime you try to do an overhaul, you can overhaul like a bedroom. Like, okay, this shit is crazy. I'm just about to organize. You can do that. You can spend 24 hours and overhaul your bedroom, color code things, organize things, and make it beautiful. You cannot do that with your life.
Your sick organization habits are coming out at the end of this show.
But I know that that's something I can do. I've tried to do that in my life, and it doesn't work. So I need people to understand you can't overhaul your life and start all this new stuff at one time. So baby steps is the way to go. So instead of saying, I'll start when things calm down, right now isn't a good time, I would just simply say, I can start right now today with the smallest of baby steps.
I love that.
Whatever
Tiny
that
steps.
looks like.
Yeah, well, you guys heard it here first. If you can't overhaul your life, but if you guys need your home organized, you give Dr. Lisa a call.
You can.
I'm just kidding. No, hopefully you guys got some really valuable turnarounds on this, and maybe just some shakeups to these beliefs that underlie these phrases, because I feel like anytime we say something negative to ourselves, it's rooted in a belief that's not true.
Absolutely.
Because if it's negative, it's rooted in fear, and fear is just false expectations appearing real.
Ooh, you heard that.
And instead, let's live in more love for ourselves and others so we can make the world a better place, yeah?
Amen.
All right.